Cheng.
How's everyone? Good. I'm from Taiwan, and people oftentimes say, "Oh, Thailand. I've been to Thailand." And I have to correct, Thailand and Taiwan are two different countries. All right.
We're better.
Oh, yes. All right. On May 27th, 2015, my guests and I arrived at the USCIS building right before 1 p.m. to attend my citizenship swearing ceremony. Right at the entrance of the ceremony hall, there was a long desk, and 3 agents were sitting there. When it was my turn, the first agent took my green card and the notice, and the second agent examined them and threw them into a big yellow envelope. And the third agent checked my name off a list. My heart sank when I turned in my green card. This was the only legal documentation in my possession to prove that I was documented or legal in this country. I didn't bring my Illinois ID with me that day, so I didn't have any ID to show who I was. But even if I did, it wouldn't have proved my legal status. So in a moment, I was without legal documentation. I started to panic as I walked into the big hall where hundreds of immigrants like me had already been seated. It was very scary to be with hundreds of people without legal documentation. It was as if we were waiting for a collective sentence. My heart pounced every time I saw an agent walk toward my direction, and I kept on thinking to myself, is this a trap? Is the agent going to tell me that something was wrong with my application and they changed their mind about naturalizing me? Did they not believe me when I indicated on the application form and when I told them face to face that I did not torture anyone? I never engaged in genocide. I was never part of the Nazi government in Germany. I was not a communist. I was not a terrorist. I was never in prison. I never committed any felonies. I never sold a deadly weapon to anyone. I was not a gambler. I never abused any drug. I was not an alcoholic. I never forced anyone to have sex, and I never solicited sex. I was a saint, and still am one. During the ceremony, the narrator in the first documentary talked about how we, like the previous generations of immigrants, that we were fortunate to escape war, poverty, and political and religious repressions to come to this country to pursue our American dream. I felt terrible that I invited my chair to come to the ceremony with me. You see, my chair was a 70-year-old African-American man. His ancestors didn't come to this country voluntarily. In his parents' time, people of different races were not allowed to swim in the same swimming pool. What was my celebration was not necessarily his to have. Even though he was very happy for me, but it was also very difficult for him to sit there and to listen to the rhetoric about American exceptionalism as a black man. Our stories were connected, yet very different. So I did complete my citizenship ceremony, and received my certificate of naturalization. And this is now, the legal documentation to prove that I am a legitimate American citizen. I didn't pay attention to it when I received it, and I immediately locked it up in my safe without realizing that I would need it again until several months ago. So this is my certificate of naturalization, and this is a real copy. I can't lose this one. And this is for getting old. There are two numbers on this certificate. There's this number for the certificate itself, 37439481. And then there is another number, A09774813. Do you know what an A stands for? I didn't realize the significance of these two numbers until when I tried to apply for Affordable Care Act health insurance in December last year. I was asked to provide these two numbers when I identify myself as a naturalized citizen. And A stands for alien. That's my alien registration number. A number I carried for decades before becoming a citizen. And a number I will continue to carry forever. These two numbers are for registration. And there is always a registry for aliens. Nothing that is happening in this country right now is new. And I'm forever reminded of my alien status every time I'm asked to provide them. Most people will assume that the process of legalization and naturalization will enable immigrants like me, and let me be very clear, very privileged, to finally assimilate into this country, to be part of this country, and to finally be home. I have contributed to this country by educating young minds at university for 15 years. I was a university professor for 15 years, and here's the irony. Not as a citizen, but as an immigrant. First, on my H-1B visa, and then with my green card. This country has entrusted immigrants with some of her most important jobs, including raising children, caring for the sick, cleaning houses, and educating young minds. You will forever unwelcome. As much as I try to blend in by achieving the American dream, this country, or shall I say this government, is never going to let me forget that I'm indeed an alien and will forever be one. So this is my American dream. American dream pursued and achieved, but I'm still